From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. Our top stories this week. A new welding package is launched in South Africa. We speak to the Sheriff of the City of London about the UK's public-private partnership model and lessons for South Africa. And the South African Weather Service unveils its brand new Weather Network investment program. Industrial robot and factory automation manufacturer Motoman has introduced a new welding package to its clients. Marianne O'Donnell has the story.
The MicroMech, which is developed for thin sheet metal application, was launched in South Africa at the end of last month. MicroMech developer and technical manager Thomas Klein from SKS Welding Systems in Germany explains the system.
MicroMech is a new welding process for heat-reduced welding of thin metals like 0.5 millimeter, and as well, the welding is as good as spatter-free. The features of MicroMech is heat-reduced welding without spatters. It is good for joining thin material. You get a nice weld optic with a nice swivel pattern on the weld seam. And the most important thing is that you have less part distortion because of less heat put during welding. Development of the MicroMech welding process, it took, first we had to develop a torch where we can support the function of that new welding process. And that took about 1 year to have that, to get this torch, and another half a year to set up the MicroMech welding process.
Public-private partnerships are back on South Africa's infrastructure agenda and also emerged as a key theme during a recent City of London mission to this country. Terence Creamer spoke to Sheriff David Wootton about the UK PPP experience and possible lessons for South Africa.
The model has developed over the years, principally by paying more attention at the outset to what the eventual outcome was going to be, because in a number of cases in the early days there were surprises at the end when things didn't quite work out as planned. The finances might have been all right, at least the initial finances, the investment finances might have been all right, but the service outcome wasn't.
The mantra really is getting value for money for the taxpayer, and I see that the evolution has also involved a movement towards sort of non-revenue generating type PFIs.
The UK model has prospered particularly on services for which the user doesn't pay.
The other big factor when you're dealing with the public purse is the issue of bribery and corruption. That sort of risk is very prevalent. I think it's quite high on the agenda at the moment here. We have a new culture of tenderpreneurship. And I was just wondering, the model that the UK has developed, are there any lessons in that regard?
The government deploys a government agency called the National Audit Office, which looks at every PPP when it's new, and it looks regularly at the performance of PPP. Figures have to be produced by government and by the contractors every year.
The South African Weather Service recently upgraded its 30-year-old weather radar system and unveiled its brand new Weather Network investment program. Loni Prinsloo was there.
We've got 12 new radars that we're purchasing over the next 3 years of the project life cycle. What we've done is we've implemented 3 of those fixed systems, and we've got 2 mobile systems. So every 2 months we aim to commission another radar. So we've got another 7 radars that will be commissioned in the next, give us 12 months.
The 240 million rand weather radar network is also viewed as a key climate adaptation tool. South Africa's Environmental Affairs Minister, Boyelwa Njika, explains further.
The world is confronted with a serious problem of climate change. And as a consequence of that, the weather in domestic situations, the weather is erratic. And you do need technology that will, help, especially with the early warning. And in the process of that, society will benefit because you will be able timelessly to inform society about whatever disaster that the country would be confronted with.
SAWS project manager Georgie George tells us how the new infrastructure will be used to alter climate change policies.
The South African Air Quality Information System that was launched, and what that is it's a database of the air quality in South Africa. Now, what the radar system is going to form part of the data collection systems. We'll be able to get clear returns, movement of dust particles, and also from that whether or not the movement of pollution creates storms in other areas, because pollution starts in one end but lands up somewhere else. Sasolburg, you have the hydrogen sulfide, ends up in Johannesburg 120 km down the line. How does that affect the climate in that area? We'll be able to monitor that, and then that will give rise to policies in climate change. That is the critical thing, that it's more of a change in attitude and a change in policy that we are going to drive towards. We won't be able to change the weather. Well, actually, we will with the cloud seeding projects that we're running. But the reality is, it's more. This is going to be used as a tool to sensitize industry and also sensitize the public in terms of climate change in this country.
And now for a sneak preview of this week's Engineering News magazine. In our cover story this week, we report that South Africa is seeking to align its industrial development zones with the sector thrust. We report that the Construction Industry Development Board's Construction Industry Indicators Survey for 2009 reveals a worrying payment delay trend. And read about South African transport utility Transnet investing 80 million rand in a second healthcare service train as part of its corporate responsibility program. And in Mining Weekly this week, in this week's cover story, read how the nuclear energy revival is ensuring the future of uranium mining. We report that South African Mineral Resources Minister Susan Shabangu has moved quickly to avoid a repeat of the Sishen iron ore rights controversy. And read that gold mining major AngloGold Ashanti has suspended processing operations at its mine in Ghana while a tailings facility is being built. That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insights into South Africa's real economy.